Welcome in. I am the Crypto Bull God, and this is All in the Charts. If you appreciate the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, drop me a comment, click the little, crush. I keep saying crush. Click the bell icon for notifications to know when I go live. I hope everyone's having a good day. I was trying to wrap something up at work, and I could not break free. So I apologize for being late to the live stream, but still doing that 9 to 5. Still doing that 9 to 5. Hey, cheers to everyone. Brian, welcome in, brother. Gensler paving the way for BlackRock to swoop in with an ETF. It's a clown show out there, guys. Real quick, I wanted to, if anybody wants to join me for a drink this evening, this individual who I follow, on Twitter, he puts out a lot of funny videos. I appreciate his humor. He's a little out there, to say the least, but I definitely appreciate his humor. Apparently, he has just moved down to Florida, so I'm trying to see if he wants to get together at some point for a drink or something. But he put out a video. Check this out. It's you can check out this YouTube video here. And his name, by the way, is Gabriel Haynes. Okay, give him a follow. But he hooked up with some other dude here in, I think this was in Texas, and they did a whiskey tasting. And for you guys who have been following me for a while, you know that I really like whiskeys. I like bourbons. They did a whiskey tasting, and then a blind whiskey tasting, and then they did a crypto guessing sort of thing. You'll have to watch the video. It was good. I enjoyed it. I watched it last night. Anyway, they had such an impact on me when they were talking about, before they started picking their favorites, I already knew what I felt would be my favorite bourbon, and it was this guy right here, which I ended up getting today. So it's Angel's Envy, Kentucky straight bourbon. It's finished in port wine barrels. So I have had some bourbons that are finished in port wine barrels. I have enjoyed them. So this is my first time tasting this, so cheers to everyone. This is very reminiscent of the Bitcoin crypto happy hours that I used to do. Cheers, everybody. Yeah, that's pretty good. Very cost effective too. I want to say this was between the $40 to $50 range. It was not an expensive bourbon by any means. So very affordable if you guys enjoy bourbon. I would give that I'll give that my stamp of approval. Sweet finish to that one. Very good. What's up, Trek? What is up, WP? Yes, appreciate the support. Everybody's a little bit more engaging today. We're going to get into, for today's, I don't know if you guys follow me on Twitter, by the way. It's Crypto Bull God on Twitter. I got the YouTube, I got the Twitter, I got the Instagram for some, you want to follow me for some gym motivation. And I got TradingView, one word Crypto Bull God, all right? Don't know if you follow me on Twitter, but I had actually charted out or tweeted out to you guys today what I wanted to cover in today's live stream and what I plan to cover in tomorrow's live stream. I don't know what time I'm live streaming tomorrow. I don't have any plans in the evening, so I may chart in the evening. I may chart in the late afternoon. I really don't know. That's why you want to click the bell icon to know if you want to engage with me and ask me any TA questions. Make sure you're subscribed and you get alerts to know when I go live, because quite frankly, I don't know when I'm going to live stream tomorrow. So, but what I had tweeted out today is I think it's important that whatever your views are of the market, and as you know, my views have been very consistent since mid to late last year, I have signaled to you that I believe that Bitcoin is going to create a new all-time high this year, and it's still my primary thesis, okay? But I think it's extremely critical to look at all the charts. You want to make sure that you don't have a biased view, right? So I think it's important for me to share charts with you that say, hey, these charts are concerning in the sense that, no, I mean, macro perspective, higher highs, higher lows, I have no concerns there. But these charts give me pause for concern that, Bitcoin might not create a new all-time high this year. We might bleed into next year, so we're going to take a look at some of those charts today, and I'll share with you why they leave me Concern. What's up, Rashid? Good to see you, brother. And then tomorrow, for tomorrow's live stream, what we're going to do is we're going to delve into this idea a little bit more specifically and more granular. I've started to put up some charts here that I've been working on, and we're going to delve into that more tomorrow. But I really want to get into this idea, and we've spoken about this before, about this positive correlation that exists between Bitcoin. Namely, we're just going to look at Bitcoin because, again, Bitcoin is the mothership. So goes Bitcoin, so goes the rest of the market. If Bitcoin's flying off the handle and setting a new all-time high, alts will follow shortly thereafter. That's what history says, okay? So we're going to mainly focus on Bitcoin, and we're going to compare that to the NASDAQ, and we're going to compare that to the S&P. Get a little bit more nitty-gritty with the data, and we're going to see just how positively they're correlated they are, and why I believe, I'm just going to share data with you that says this, it's not my emotional opinion, why right now Bitcoin is lagging the NASDAQ and lagging the S&P, but history tells us it should be catching up at some point shortly. So we will get into that tomorrow, a little bit more of a positive live stream tomorrow. And this is not a negative live stream, but this is going to be geared more towards, hey, what charts concern me again that not from a macro perspective, things are falling apart. That is not what I'm saying. Don't hear what I'm not saying. Listen to the words coming out of my mouth. This is only charts that concern me in terms of me being wrong that Bitcoin will not set a new all-time high this year. And maybe we have to wait several more months for it. Maybe it's not until February of next year, or April of next year, or May of next year. We're going to take a look at those charts in a moment. Let's look at one chart, just one quick chart, to kind of assess the price action. Bitcoin is marking the sign of the devil. That's always great to see. 25,666. Always good to see that 666. Yeah. Anyway, we've spoken about this falling wedge. It looks like we're still in this falling wedge formation. You can see that we wicked all. This is a 2-day candlestick. You can see we wicked all the way down here, and we're still in this falling wedge, right? And we're in a falling wedge on the RSI too. Again, we're going to have to see how the week closes out. But I keep saying, I'm just pointing to a formation in the chart. It doesn't have to play out, but there's a higher likelihood it does play out. There is an inverse head and shoulders, which is a bullish pattern. This is a falling wedge, and we're literally just back testing the top of the shoulder level here. That's all we're doing, okay? So we'll have to see how the week closes out. Obviously, if we collapse down here to 22,000, well, that invalidates the falling wedge, right? So we'll have to see where we're at, but we'd even still have higher highs and higher lows at that point. Again, I don't believe anything is possible, but I don't believe we're going to collapse down to 22.5 or 22,000. But we'll have to see. It's certainly a possibility. It could happen. All right, now let's get into charts that leave me feeling concerned. Why do I have this up? Oh yes, why do I have this up? Okay, this is the 1 day. Did I want to look at this? I wish I would have had time to clean this up before that. Okay, I believe, yes, I believe we want to look at this. All right. So one of the charts that leaves me feeling a little bit concerned at the moment, let's look at the 1 day chart, okay? As you can see, we had a true golden cross back here because not only did the 50 simple moving average cross above the 200 simple moving average, that's not the only one thing you need to see for a true golden cross. You need to make sure that the 200 isn't crossing down, right? It isn't trending down, but that the 200 at the very least has flattened out, and then you want to begin to see it curl up, right? So both moving averages are moving up. Well, this doesn't leave me feeling good at the moment because right now we've lost the 50 simple moving average as an area of support. We're starting to come down to this 200. We do not, guys, we do not want to see on a daily basis here us starting to get candle body closes below like the $24,000 area. Now, what that would mean, okay, what that would indicate to us on a daily time frame, if we started getting these candle body closes below 24,000, what's that going to do? There's two things that will do, okay, that are bearish. One, we will start to entertain areas, candle body closes below the 200 simple moving average Thus, the 200 simple moving average would act as an area of resistance since we are below it on a candle body closing basis. Number two, the second thing that would be bearish about this is the more price action starts to come down here and entertain price levels below the 200 simple moving average, that's going to cause the 50, again, the 50 simple moving average, all it is it's just a straight average of the prior 50. Is this not loading? There we go. Is this not loading? There we go. This is the Gaussian on the 2-day, okay? Now, obviously, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that, did you know actually that rocket science is not that technical? Fun fact, look it up. Actuarial science, I'm an actuary for those that don't know, actuarial science is much more complex than rocket science. Look it up. But everybody uses that terminology, rocket science. It's not rocket science to figure out that red is bad and green is good. All right, that's one of the key things to take away from the Gaussian channel. Now, what I don't like to see, okay, what I don't like to see is while the Gaussian channel on the 2-day did turn green, what we've now done, you can see we're starting to print red candlesticks. We're below the median line on the Gaussian channel on the 2-day. Es no bueno. It's no good. All right, we don't want to start to see on the 2-day, us going below this area. If we start going below the bottom of the Gaussian channel, this thing is going to flip red, and history tells us that is not good if that happens. Let's go back in time and take a look at what I'm talking about here. When we flipped, you can see when we flipped green here back in 2016, you did see we got a little bit of a fake out here. But when we flipped green, we held price levels. Look what we did. We held price levels above the median line. See the price wicks? Again, expressions of volatility, but we didn't see these candle body closes go below the median line, and we never flipped red, right? Look at the strength of this thing. Yes, we kept touching the median line, but we held it and held it and held it. And then once we flipped red, it was no bueno. This was the wave one move, okay? What I'm referring to is the wave one move. Once we turned green, it was good. Once we lost the median point here, you can see once we lost that median line on the 2-day, it eventually turned red. We closed all the way below the Gaussian channel. We turned red. Es no bueno. Okay, a little bit of a fake out here. All right, and this was the beer virus crash. Once we turned green here, now this is going into 2020 in our large run that we had. Going into 2020, what did we do? We held the median line as support, and we continued going higher, okay, until we topped out. Of course, we had our double top, and this was our ABC correction, obviously. So I don't like the fact, now this hasn't flipped red on the 2-day, but this is a caution for me. This is a caution flag. We are below this median line. We need to get above 20, it is roughly 26,300. We need to push above 26,300, all right, guys? Next chart that has me a little bit concerned here, okay? Or I would at least raise everyone's awareness. This is the 3-day chart and the 125 simple moving average. Now, I've spoken to this before. I'm not going to reiterate and regurgitate the same things I've indicated on this channel, but there's a lot of historical significance with the 125 simple moving average on the 3-day. What I don't like to see, prior to all this movement down here, the 125 simple moving average, I'm breaking up. I apologize. Is the audio bad? I apologize. Can you guys hear me okay? Damn, what is going on? Could be the connection. Hopefully my audio. I'll try speaking a little bit lower. Maybe it's just my level of excitement. Can you drop me a comment, guys? And just let me know if the audio is any better. YouTube's telling me I have an excellent connection, so I'm not sure what the issue is. I apologize. I'm not really sure what's going on. Let me know if the audio is any better. So on the 3-day with the 125 simple moving average, what has me concerned on this chart, okay, is that this moving average began to flatten and it looked like it wanted to curl up. But the most recent price action coming down has caused the 125 to start to kind of move down, right? And I've spoken to the importance that it is possible we could backtest this line at some point, okay? We could backtest this line at some point. But I really would not want to see this occur now based on some of the other charts and what that would imply, looking at the 12-hour, looking at the daily. I really don't want to come down here all the way to 22,000, roughly 300, okay? That would, if you start to connect the dots, if we started to come down to 20,000, 22,300, what would that mean for the rest of our charts? Well, what that would mean if we look at the 12-hour is now we're starting to do this, right? And I've spoken to, this is not good. That is not what you want to see. You don't want to see these lower lows and lower highs. We have a significant death cross on the 12-hour, and history is not on our side for a significant death cross on the 12-hour, okay? This chart alone, and I should probably also speak to this too, this chart alone also leaves me feeling concerned on the 12-hour. Right now, okay, facts are facts. Yes, we have a falling wedge on multiple time frames, but we have lower highs and lower lows coming in here, and it's causing the 50 to come down here. We don't want to see that. We need price for the bulls, okay? We need price to come back up here and punch back above the $27,000 level. Ultimately, you know, if I had to pick one price that I wanted to see Bitcoin get back above and where I would it would restore a lot of confidence that we are going to continue moving up, as I believe we will, let's get above the 200 simple moving average on the 12-hour. What other channel, what other TA content creator out there evaluating charts is telling you to look at the 200 simple moving average on the 12-hour chart? For people who have been subscribed to this channel for a long time, you know why it's important. I've spoken to the historical significance on this chart. Bitcoin has limited price data. Yes, the weekly and monthly are very important time frames in the 2-week chart. We only have 12, 13 years of price data. Okay, there's only so much we can infer from such a limited time period. That's why the 12-hour time frame is so significant. Okay, so we need to see prices punch back up above the 200 simple moving average on the 12-hour. All right, there was another, this is one that I've really been keeping my eye on. This is one of the top charts that leaves me feeling concerned in terms of, okay, this gives me pause for our new all-time highs in Bitcoin possible this year. What is this? This is a 3-day chart, and it's looking at when is a golden cross going to occur. This is just looking at a 50 simple moving average and a 200 simple moving average. There's no way in hell Bitcoin is going to create a new all-time high this year unless if it makes a significant push up soon. Why do I say that? Because the 200 simple moving average on the 3-day is curling down, and the 50 is curling up, but this 200 is curling down. We need some significant price action to come in here, because what that's going to cause is the 200 to flatten and begin to curl up. And then the 50 will curl up and create a golden cross. We are not going to see a new all-time high in Bitcoin. Mark my words, we will not see a new all-time high in Bitcoin this year in 2023 unless we see a golden cross on the 3-day and both moving averages are moving up. All right, intuitively that makes sense to me, but for people who are not chartists or not chartists, let's just look at the price data. Okay, anytime you had a new all-time high, look, we had a golden cross here. Intuitively it makes sense. What is a golden cross telling us? Just think about this for a moment, step back and just ask the question, what is a golden cross even telling us? And when both moving averages are moving up, it means that the more recent price data is accelerating at a higher rate than the older price data. But they're both trending up. It's moving up, and the more recent price action is more aggressive in terms of its rate of appreciation relative to older price data. That's what it's telling you. Okay, when you have that golden cross and both are moving up, right? There's no way in hell we're going to see a new all-time high unless we get this golden cross, right? Golden cross on the 3-day, golden cross on the 3-day. So we really have to ask ourselves, given some of the current price action, and this may be the number one chart I'm looking at, to be honest with you, that gives me pause on this year. It gives me pause. It doesn't make me say it's not going to happen at this point, but it gives me pause. The serious question we have to ask ourselves is, based on some of this recent price data, when in the hell are we actually going to see a golden cross and both moving averages to move up? I'm sure I could calculate something theoretical in Excel pretty easily, but I mean, you'd have to see this thing flatten out pretty soon and begin to curl up. And when you do that, right, maybe this moves around and then begins to curl up, you know, you look at something like that, and I'm just drawing this off the cusp here, but when you look at something like that, and if you don't think a true golden cross, okay, where the 50 crosses above the 200 and both are moving up, if these aren't really starting to trend up until November of this year, you really got to ask yourself, when are you going to see a new all-time high? This gives me pause to say, okay, maybe we won't see an all-time high until March or April or May in Bitcoin, right? Again, don't take away from today's content that there's anything going on that leaves me uncertain or scared or nervous about crypto and Bitcoin ultimately going up and creating new all-time highs. That is not what I'm saying, okay? I don't have any hesitation there. Believe me, been in the space long enough, evaluated enough charts, I feel confident with that, even though the emotional sentiment is what it is, right? I allow the data to speak to me, okay? All I'm doing is raising a flag and saying, okay, we got to remain unbiased. We have to evaluate all the charts, and we have to ask ourselves, as many data science models and charts that I've spoken to on this channel that say, hey, I believe that Bitcoin is going to create a new all-time high this year. I think it's important to evaluate charts that kind of spit in the face of that, or at least raise a caution flag and say, hey, CBG, you could be wrong. I mean, you could be wrong by a few months. Maybe it's 3 months after the fact or 4 months after the fact, and it's early 2014, right? 2014, we're going back in time. Shit, I haven't even gotten my FSA yet. I don't want to go back. You know, I still have nightmares about taking actuarial exams. I have nightmares, common themes. I'd be curious. Drop your comments here. I got to read your comments. Jorge speaking to Alex Cobbs' 30-second charts. Drop a comment here. I'm very curious. What recurring dreams do you have? I have recurring dreams that I'm taking actuarial exams. There's some exam I have to take. That shit... It damaged me as an individual. I'm just fearful I have to take more exams. And the other recurring dream I have, I love my car too much apparently. I have recurring dreams that my car is stolen. People take the parts off. It breaks down. Something's going wrong with it. And I have had dreams about crypto and the markets are going up and for some reason I can't sell my assets. Those, I would say the first two are the most recurring dreams. Exams and my car. Those are the things that are on my mind, I guess. I have nightmares about school, and I graduated college almost a decade ago. Nice. All right, what other charts leave me feeling concerned? And I'm going to get to your comments really quickly here. Not that chart. Oh, there was one more chart I wanted to speak to. Okay, and then I'm going to get to your comments here. The Williams alligator, okay? And the ADX and DI. I had a whole video that was created to this, okay? You can go back and take a look at it. If you go to my YouTube... If you guys want to check out the video on this, go to my channel and look for the video. I'm going to tell you right now. Well, I'm hoping to tell you right now. Hold on. Bear with me. Bear with me. Have a little patience. Have a little patience. Yes. I believe, I'm pretty sure, I'm not going to click on the video. Does not have a lot of views, but I would check it out. There is a video I published on February 22nd, and it is called Bitcoin Chart Flashes Bullish. I'm pretty sure that's what I spoke to. Bitcoin Chart Flashes Bullish. And I was speaking to this chart here, and I was speaking to the significance. So I'm not going to go over it again because you can watch the video and check it out. But I was speaking specifically to the historical significance. I've seen some good green in the market right now. It's good to see. I was speaking to the historical significance. Again, I just speak to the factual data. The Williams alligator, okay, this stuff here, the blue, the green, the red, and the blue. And I spoke to the ADX and DI indicator, okay, and it flashed bullish here, okay. Now, what is giving me some pause here? It's not making me think prices again are going to tank or things are going drastically lower. That's not what I'm speaking to, but there are some things occurring in this chart that are like, okay, there's a little bit of caution here, and I want to keep an eye on this in the coming weeks. Well, let me share that with you right now. First off, let's look. Ooh, excuse me, I went down the wrong pipe. Hey, guys, show a little love for CBG here. All right, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Where's Kathleen? Kathleen in the house? I don't see Kathleen. All right. I'm going to get to your messages in a moment. I don't see Kathleen. Where are you at? ADXDI. All right. The important thing to keep in mind with this ADX and DI indicator is that the green needs to stay above this dotted line. The dotted line, which is what I would call the trigger line, is 20. You want the green line above it, and you want the red line below it. The larger the mouth is, okay, the larger this delta is for all those mathematicians out there. The larger the delta is, the larger the gap is. Typically, the larger the move, okay, if we go back in time, right? Look at this monumental gap here. See how high above the green is above the dotted line and the red is below the dotted line? Look at this monumental move in price. That's when we went to like from 8,000 up to 64,000, all right? We did like a, what is that? That's 64, 8, that's just about an 8x, all right? So, no, that is an 8x. 8 times 8, yeah. Whew, 8 times 8 is 64. I am an actuary. So this is the first thing that's concerning to me is that the delta here is not very big. The red looks like it wants to start going above the 20, which would not be bullish. That would be bearish. And the green looks like it wants to start going below. Okay, if we get a negative cross here, history says that's not favorable for us. We do not want to see that. We want to continue to see this green and red get further and further apart with the green up and the red down. We don't want to crisscross. We don't want to crisscross down, the green going below the red. We don't want that. The other thing that's giving me some pause, let's just focus on the Williams alligator. If we go back in time, once we have a positive cross on the Williams alligator, it's green, red, blue, all right? Green, red, blue. Any kindergartner can memorize colors. Can you memorize 3 colors? Green, red, blue, all right? So that is good. Now, you can see when we've had the green, red, blue, we've historically had these large movements in price, right? Okay, large movements in price. The other thing that we've done, okay, if we go back in history is we typically don't like to go below the red. You can see we followed the green here. We dipped below the red a little bit here, but then we got back above it. What did we do in 2016 and 17? You can see once we had a positive cross, look what happened here. We touched the red, but we didn't deviate below it, right? Didn't deviate below it. Here, this was our short wave 1 movement up. You can see once we crashed hard down. This is not the similar price movements you're seeing right now. As many people would like you to think the price movements right now are similar to this, this is not what's going on right now, okay? I would be willing to bet a lot of Satoshis on that. I've been saying that forever. And then this is back in 2020 going into 2021. You can see that we touched the green here. We didn't even touch the red, right? And then we started to crash below. So right now, what's happening is price, and I should have indicated this. Hopefully you followed this, but price is the black line. It's easier to follow this on a line chart. We've dipped below red. We haven't touched blue. Blue. If we started going down to blue here, this would not be good. This is down at 24,000. We've dipped below red. What we need to see, okay, we've dipped below red. Let's start to ride this a little and start to go back up. All right, that's what we need to see. So also the Williams alligator is giving me a little pause for concern here. I want to see how this plays out. So those are the charts that I identified. I mean, there were what, maybe 6 or 7 charts we kind of walked through. Again, I have not changed my primary hypothesis that Bitcoin is hitting new all-time highs this year. Nothing has happened to invalidate that yet for me, okay? Again, I've continued to say I'm very consistent in what I communicate to you. Hopefully you're getting that if you've been subscribed here for a while. I will begin to, let me turn the light on. I can see the camera's a little dark here. I will begin to reevaluate, okay? Reevaluate whether or not all-time highs this year make the most sense and kind of speak a little bit to that after the month of June. Let's wait for June to come in. Let's see how June turns out here. But for the time being, nothing has changed. But there are some charts here that are giving me some pause. Most notably, the one that I spoke to was the 3-day and that golden cross. We'll have to see kind of how that plays out. Everybody, if you appreciated that content, crush that motherfucking thumbs up button. Let's see what questions and comments we have here. A lot of engagement today. Glad to see that. A little bit more engagement today, which is good to see. It's a little rough as a content creator when you come out here every single day and there's not a lot of engagement. It's a little tough. And I want to say this, I appreciate each and every single one of you that show up consistently. And even if you can't show up consistently, the times that you're able to show up, the times you watch the videos in syndication, there are channels I watch that I can't catch stuff live, but I go back and I watch it after it's been published, and I appreciate the engagement. I genuinely do, because I am really trying hard to see myself succeed in this market and to bring you along with me through education so that you too can be educated and well-versed in things so that you can make some informed decisions for yourself. So I appreciate it. Let's see. What do we got here? WP, I do know that you're following me on Twitter. Thank you so kindly, sir. Kevin, BlackRock has been saying Bitcoin ETF for a few years now. I completely agree. Yeah, something was wrong with the sound there. After I sell the absolute tippy top, I like that, tippity top, I'm moving to Bangkok so I can get my name dropped. Jorge, you were something else. All right. Okay, a lot of comments on the sound. Don't know what was going on. Good to see Alex chart. Alex Cobb is charting on 30-second charts. I don't know if you guys remember, but I spoke to somebody else in the XRP community. And I think this is why people don't take people in the XRP community serious, is because I always distinguish. I don't know if you noticed, but when I chart things out, I will put XRP community, but I do not put XRP Army. XRP Army, to me, signals a maximalist community. That's the way I take it. And I am not a fan of maximalists, okay? I just don't. Whether you're a Bitcoin maximalist or XRP maximalist, but there are a lot of clowns in the XRP Army, okay? There's a lot of clowns in a lot of communities, okay? But I've seen a lot of shit with charts that don't make any sense. And you see the same clowns in the Bitcoin maxi area too. I just spoke to this yesterday. If you want to believe that Bitcoin is hitting $270,000 in the next couple months, by all means, put in your sell limit orders. But I mean, you literally, I'll just leave it at that. Anybody else with nightmares? Anybody else recurring nightmares? Not even nightmares, just recurring dreams, you know? There are a lot of things I could think about that I would like to have recurring dreams on. Doesn't happen, okay? Use your best guess on that one. I would love to go to sleep at night and have certain recurring dreams. I'm sure you can figure that one out. That shit doesn't happen. I start dreaming about my car getting stolen and taking actuarial exams. But, you know, yeah, I need a little bit of love in my life, even if it's in my dreams, you know? Let's see what we got here. The late all-time high around April 2024 would coincide. You know, it would be interesting. I've kind of thrown this idea out before, WP, that if I'm wrong, and I'm not asserting that I am yet, I'm not going to know with 100% certainty until after the fact. Let me clarify that statement. I'm not asserting that my hypothesis has changed, but if I did reformulate that or revise that, one of the things I've spoken to is the idea that, there are too many people out there that feel like they know the narrative, a 4-year cycle, right? Everything's just going to magically happen where we're just going to, for the rest of 2023, it's going to be a boring year. We're going to go sideways. And then in 2024, we're going to go up a lot, and then we're going to come back down, and then we're going to top in 2000. Too many people know what's going to happen based on a 4-year cycle, right? So I have stated, again, consistently that wherever we're at in the charts, I believe the halving event will be a sell the news event. That is my belief. I believe it's going to be a sell the news event. We'll have to see how that plays out. Too many people feel like they know what's going to happen. So I've spoken to the fact that if the 2023 all-time high does play out with Bitcoin, it wouldn't surprise me. Okay, what did I say on this channel? It wouldn't surprise me to, let's say things do pan out. We do make some sort of a recovery here, and we come up and we top somewhere up here, and then we start to come back down, right? And then we get into the halving, and we see a run, but it's a lower high, and then we start to continue to sell off. Bottom line is we see a lower high relative to up here, right? And then we just continue to sell off. The other idea I am open to, if I'm incorrect, is we continue to run, and then we run into the halving, and then we start to sell off. Right, I could also see that the all-time high is created around the halving. It's certainly a great idea. Brian, I love your train of thought, brother. I love your train of thought. This was the bottom. We go up. There is nowhere to go but up. All right. Did I show you guys this? I bought a few of these. I think it was, I forget who's the company. Ballet Crypto. I bought a few of these just for the novelty of it. Just for the novelty of it. You know, they're real physical wallets. I own a couple of these, Bitcoin and Litecoin. It's just for the novelty of it. You know, I am a geeked out crypto guy. Let me share this with you also. I'd be curious if anyone else is similar. I own OG crypto coins. They're on my hardware wallet. I don't intend to sell them. I own some Dash. I own some Zcash. I own some Litecoin. I own some Bitcoin Cash. Those are 4 tokens that, I mean, unless they do like a 50x. If any of them do a 50x, might sell those. That'd be a nice chunk of change. But they're sitting on my hardware wallet. I don't intend to do anything with them unless something ridiculous happens and they go astronomical in value, which I do not see happening and I'm not counting on. But it's just the novelty of it. Like, I love knowing that I own those assets. They're sitting on my hardware wallet and I'm not doing jack shit with them. Dash, Zcash, Bitcoin Cash, and Litecoin. Not doing jack shit with them. All right. I blame Larry Fink. Thank you, WP. Appreciate the positive feedback. By the way, Crypto Ryan, a legend. I don't know if I'm a legend, but I'll take it. Thank you very much. Good to see you in here. Very good to see you in here. I really appreciate, some of you have reached out to me and offered some positive feedback, and that is always very welcomed, whether it's positive feedback or whether you're providing me opportunities for improvement for the channel, and it's in a good light. It's not in a mean spirit, but it's in a, hey, you know, I think you could do this or this would be. I appreciate all that stuff. I really do. And I had someone reach out to me the other day, a couple days ago actually, because I'm bad with DMs, wrote me a very lengthy message and in pretty detail about why he appreciated my content. And it really meant a lot to me. It really did. So I just want to say thank you. That's all. You work hard at something, and it's nice that it's well received. So I appreciate it. Track. I'm curious to see if the BlackRock ETF gets approved because BlackRock is going through Coinbase, and Coinbase is in trouble with the SEC. I'll have to catch up on the news. I have not. I know that I was reading some headlines, or not reading headlines. I was listening to, as many of you probably do, Cryptos Are Us. I think George, as much as I sometimes bust his balls about being non-knowledgeable about TA, and you should literally clog your ears every time he tries to talk about TA because he doesn't know anything about TA, clearly. He does do a good job. He does a good job of covering news events, and I like listening to him. My ex always loved every morning when I would have Cryptos Are Us on. She loved that. She loved hearing George's voice every morning. It's that man again. God, you always have that man on. But I love listening to that stuff as I'm trying. He does a good job. He was speaking about something with BlackRock gobbling up, I guess, in their filings, quarterly filings, I guess it showed that they had purchased a lot of Bitcoin, right? So the thing I would convey to you is there's a lot of, I don't know if you recognize this, for the guys that have been here, for the guys and the women who have been here for a while, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors that takes place. And that's why it really, I was getting at this yesterday when we were talking about the federal funds rate, right? And I was trying to explain why it is moronic to listen to Jerome Powell for guidance on what the Federal Reserve is going to do. You literally, all you have to do is look at a chart. The chart is going to tell you with a degree of certainty what's going to happen. I haven't calculated the probability here, which, by the way, if you guys don't follow George Gammon on Rebel Capitalist, another great channel that I listen to, literally was listening to him this morning and was like, well, I'm glad he's literally saying what I just said yesterday. I mean, he was speaking to the same thing that I reiterated on my live stream yesterday in more detail. And I want to actually calculate the probability here. But again, the probability, now that we've paused, is more than likely we're going to see a decline in interest rates. And then the question you have to ask yourself is, what does that mean, right? What sort of economic environment are we in? If you want to ignore 70 years of price data, go for it. And you want to just listen to some old man up at the podium, you fucking go for it. But I don't understand why people will blindly follow and listen to somebody instead of, there's so much data at our fingertips. There's literally so much available information at our fingertips. I think some of it is people don't have time, like they just don't have the time to invest to look at this stuff. And some people don't make the effort, okay? But the shit is right here, and it's telling us we have an interest rate pause. There's a certain probability, it's a very high probability, we're not going higher on interest rates. We're going to pause for some period of time, and then we're going to decline. And then once we decline in interest rates, at some point shortly thereafter, pretty bad recession is going to be at our fingertips. Why do I keep saying fingertips? Pretty bad recession will be occurring. Unemployment rates are going to go. Yeah, I just don't know why people ignore data. I don't understand that. Okay, Ricky. Hi, CBG. You've said multiple times that charts follow narratives. Yes, that is correct. Correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't charts a graphic representation of market sentiment based on human emotions? That is a very true statement. I think what I'm trying to... So let me say this. Ricky, first off, very good question. You are spot on. Let me just say that. Let me answer your question directly. Great question. You are correct. So Ricky again says, aren't charts a graphic representation of market sentiment based on human emotions? You are correct. And let me paraphrase this a little bit differently to get that point across again. Can we get these sixes out of Bitcoin? We don't need to see 25,666 or any 25,566. Don't call me superstitious, but I don't like to see the mark of the devil on any of these assets, all right? I saw Chili's earlier today. Look, it's back at it. Chili's is back at 6.66 cents. Can we get off that? God damn it. That bothers me. All right. You know, I used to work for a bank when I was in college before I got my real job, and there were people with account numbers that had 3 6s in it. They were just auto-assigned account number with 3 6s in it. And they wanted their account number reassigned because they did not like the fact that they had 3 6s in it. I can't blame them. I can't blame them. If my checking account number was 066623, I'd be like, really? I need a different account number. Turn it off. I don't know what you mean by that, Evan. All right. So let me address what Ricky said. So Ricky asked a very good question. I said he was correct. You are correct. This chart encompasses retail investors, institutional investors. It encompasses bots and algorithm trading. It encompasses market sentiment and human emotions. It encompasses price indicators and moving averages and price patterns. It encompasses all that stuff. The main thing, the BTC price, yes, please. Now I got you, Evan. The main thing I'm attempting to communicate, Ricky, is that we should not allow ourselves to believe that we need to listen to a news narrative to tell us about what's going to happen in the chart, okay? That we should, this is my view, that we should make decisions on when to buy and when to sell and how to buy and how to sell based on what everyone is saying and what the news narratives are. The charts, okay, when we zoom out, okay, what I'm attempting to say is all of this data is what keeps us informed in terms of what decisions we should be making. What's happening today, like when I look at a chart like this, I'm looking at this week, the prior few weeks, the formation here, and understanding the historical significance of a pattern like this, and then looking at all of this historical data as well to make inferences on what I believe will occur today and moving forward, right? That's what I'm attempting to say. The other thing that's sort of baked into that message is the news is not guiding the charts. It's not. There are chart patterns at play here, okay? And there are certain probabilistic directions for everything to go. And it's interesting to me the more time that I have spent in this market, and also traditional markets as well, that the news comes out and sort of fills in the gap to what the chart is saying and not the other way around. So what I'm also saying, to kind of speak to something in the present here, my belief is we're going to see some sort of sharp, significant move to the upside, right? It's not the news that's going to lend itself to that being the case. It's the charts telling us. The chart right now to me is telling me there's a much higher probability that we are going to see a significant run in price. Now, it's not news that's going to guide this. It's the chart. It's the chart telling us, but there will be a news narrative that kind of fills in the gap because people need something. They need something to make sense of price action. There will be a news narrative to fill the gap into why price is increasing, but the chart is already telling us, hey, there's a higher probability things are moving up. I hope that makes sense. I'm trying to explain myself as best as I can. But Ricky, you are spot on, and it's a very good question. I'm glad you asked it. Any comments on the BTC analysis by Gareth Soloway? If you follow him. So, okay, what do I want to say? What do I want to say here? I'm not intoxicated. I wish I were, because I'd probably let a lot more fly here. All right. What do I want to say? What do I want to say about Gareth? Well, I'm just going to state factual information. How about that? All right. Look. Every technical analyst gets wrong calls and correct calls. But the really value-added technicians in this space are the ones that I think are the ones that can explain things well. Okay, so they can take things and they can explain it to you well. That's number one. They have good communication skills. And number two, they have more right than wrong in and that's hard to measure because you don't know what their portfolio looks like. You don't really know how that kind of plays out in their portfolio. But more right than wrong in the sense of kind of bigger picture perspective calls and things they're looking at here. And yeah, I don't even know how to kind of define that. But I guess my point is every technician has good calls and bad calls. We all do. I've had terrible calls. I mean, look at sushi, okay? Clearly, I've brought up Sushi Swap plenty of times. Clearly, bad call. Very bad call. But I've also had very good calls. And what I would say about Gareth is where Gareth was right, I mean, he was spot on, and I was wrong. I believe he was calling for a significant correction in Bitcoin when I was not, okay? When we were up here, I was not seeing the level of correction that he was seeing, okay? And he was right. I'm pretty sure he was calling for a significant correction. Correct me if I'm wrong. So, like, hey, props to him. But what I noticed, and I don't follow him, by the way, what I noticed is he got ultra, hyper, bearish down here. And his calls, I mean, he was calling for 5,000 Bitcoin, if I'm correct. If I'm remembering that correct. I don't want to put words in his mouth. But I feel very confident in saying he felt very good about 10,000 and possibly 5,000. And when I started seeing that, it reminded me of a lot of the other people out there that just turned hyper pessimistic like Data Dash. I used to speak to Data Dash in a very positive light. I used to watch his channel all the time. And I unsubscribed a long time ago. The reason I unsubscribed was not because his views differed from mine. The reasons were because he just wasn't making sense to me. He was just way too bearish, and I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But point is, I think Gareth, I don't know what his most recent call is. I did hear him on a Twitter Spaces, and I forget the other day, and I forget what his angle was. But I can tell you this, if he is still calling for 10,000 or 5,000 Bitcoin, I mean, he is, and that's how he's positioning himself, he is going to be caught with his pants down. No question in my mind about that, okay? Now, once we make new all-time highs, Do I think it's I've said Bitcoin is going to go through a major correction. Do I think at some point, now this is crazy to think about. I want you to listen to what I'm saying. Do I think at some point down the road, do I think it's possible once, I have to really analyze this, but do I think it's possible for Bitcoin to go to super low levels after we top out? Yeah, I don't know how low. I want to wait until we top out. But do I think Bitcoin coming back to 20,000 or 15 or even 10 is possible? Yes. But I want to wait until we top out and kind of see where our new all-time high is and then assess the charts. But if he at this point is calling for a 5,000 or 10,000 Bitcoin, man, I mean, I don't know what he's seeing because I don't see that. Like I don't see that. To me, that sounds and feels like someone who is looking a lot more at the macro environment. Okay, again, the fundamentals, which are critical, which are important, and not reading the chart. This is where myself and many others differ. I agree that the economic environment, I agree that there's a lot of worrisome things going on. I've spoken to this plenty of times. People with monumental amounts of debt. The government with the record levels of debt they have, but personal income levels. The way you can go on Amazon and purchase a $20 order and use a firm or whatever the hell it is to make equal payments over 3 to 6 months. It's absurd. People can't afford things anymore. Some of it based on inflation, some of it based on the fact that they don't understand how to spend within their means. Some of it, and I don't mean to be insensitive, but some of it quite frankly, having larger families than they should because they can't financially afford it. And some of it to their undue, out of their control, just because they have a job that pays them $60,000 a year, they get 2% rate increase, 2% merit increases, and you have a government that is irresponsible with their spending and prints dollar bills, devalues the dollar. Most people don't understand this, and you have things going up 10, 15, 20%. Okay, it's a whole mix of things. And I don't mean to be insensitive. It's just the truth. You have to be. I'll tell you what. If you want to have a family and you want to have 3, 4 kids, go for it. Like I implore you to. I think that's awesome. You better be financially ready for that, though. I mean, if you're telling me you're planning on having 3 to 4 kids, or even 1 or 2, and you're planning on racking up monumental amounts of debt, ding, 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 sounds like you're not ready to have a family. Like, just exercise some goddamn common sense. That stuff bothers me so much when people don't think through the actions that stuff bothers me. Like, just think things through. Exercise some, yeah. So, but where I differ from a lot of other individuals, and I'm glad you guys are still staying tuned in and I haven't lost you here, going down a rabbit hole. Where I differ from a lot of other people is I view it very differently with what occurs within the stock market, the charts, okay? Economic capital and the real world. At some point, these things meet up. At some point, we've had this interest rate conversation. At some point, as the saying goes, the chickens come home to roost, okay? Things will catch up. Unemployment rates are going to go very high. We're going to have a real recession, and the stock market will reflect that. But for now, even though there's a lot of serious shit going on, the charts are telling me we still have a lot of upside. That's what the charts are telling me. And that is how I base my decisions, okay? So again, if Gareth is telling you 5 or 10,000 or whatever the hell he's saying now, he's entitled to his opinion, right? I think what will happen on the flip side now is he will be proven to be wrong, just like he was right before, as I was wrong before, and I believe I will be correct this time, okay? So everybody has good calls and bad calls. Oh, Jorge. Yeah, I'm ready for alts to fucking springboard up as well, Evan. I feel you. Mr. BBC, aka the sodomizer. Okay, Ricky, thanks a lot for the explanation. That does make much more sense. I'm so glad I could catch the live today. Glad to have you. I'm glad to have you in, brother. I'm glad everybody can catch the live stream. Australia, that is awesome. I love when people tune in from different countries. That is so cool. You can see I'm genuinely like, I think that's so cool. Awesome. Brendan, I think I said welcome in. Glad to have you here. CBG, spitting hard-hitting facts, but true. Yeah, I like to keep things real. I mean, I want to be sensitive. I mean, everybody culturally grows up different. Everybody comes from a different environment. But that being said, I will say but. I think there are certain things in life when you get to the stage in life where you are a grown-up and you're making grown-up decisions, have some fucking self-accountability, okay? We all go through hard times. Most of us, like, honestly, most of us growing up, while we all have stories of certain things, we all have different backgrounds. I've met enough people in life, especially in South Florida, given the cultural diversity down here. I have met enough people in life to know that a lot of people have grown up in much rougher environments than I did, okay? Much rougher. But, I will say the onus is on you as an individual and as an adult to undergo that self-growth and make something of yourself in life. If you're raising children, you want to set an example for them. And one of the examples you should set in life is to be financially disciplined. If you are not financially disciplined as a parent, as an individual, how can you expect your child to be any different? They look up to you as a role model. Everything that you say, everything that you do, all your actions and your words, your child is paying more attention to you than you realize. The onus is on you to be financially disciplined so that they know how to invest, so that they know not to carry all massive amounts of debt when they go through life. How do I save money? What is it important that I spend money on? I don't want to be materialistic. I want to value the things that are... I'm really going off on a tangent, but I think you get my point. All right, let's see what else we got here. I could just keep talking and talking and talking. After the all-time high in Bitcoin, it's not possible to go down to 2,000 or retest the wick-off range at 20. I think he meant 20,000 or retest the wick-off range at 25. We'll have to see where Bitcoin tops at, but you know what? I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Let's have fun. What I think will be fun. Let's have fun this year because I still think 2023 is going to end with a bang, okay? So let's have fun this year. Let's allow Bitcoin to run. Let's have alts then surge thereafter. Let's just enjoy the moment of what I believe the next 6 to 8 months will offer us. Then we can have that conversation. It's a great question, but yeah, I don't doubt what you're saying, Evan. I want to enjoy the price action that I believe will take place over these next 6 to 8 months. As well as many of you, I'm sure, are eagerly awaiting some massive green candles. I am very excited for the potential. So again, guys, I really appreciated the engagement today. I really did. There were a lot of questions in here and a lot of good comments. That's what I had prepared for you today. For tomorrow, real quick, before you guys tune out, for tomorrow, we're going to take a look at charts like this, side by side, Bitcoin, the S&P, Bitcoin, and the NASDAQ, okay? We're going to take a close examination between the equity markets and Bitcoin, and we're going to ask ourselves the following question. Is there enough supporting historical data to strongly suggest that Bitcoin is momentarily lagging and we're going to see a strong surge to the upside or not? And there's not enough data to suggest that, and maybe we're just going to continue going lower. That is what we are going to examine tomorrow. If you appreciate that and you appreciated the content today, make sure to give me a thumbs up. Drop me a comment. Express some appreciation here. I know I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Believe me. I'm going to go off and make some barramundi. I marinated in some lime juice, some olive oil, salt and pepper, some barramundi. I'm going to grill that shit up and have some, I think, Brussels sprouts. I haven't done Brussels sprouts in a while, so I think that's what I'm going to have. Everybody take care of yourself. That's true, Brendan. I agree with your tax comment. Everybody take care of yourself. Have a good evening, a good morning, or a good afternoon, whatever part of the world you're at. Share this video with at least one person so we can grow the community. And until tomorrow, spread awareness and carry the education forward. Take care, everybody. Click the bell icon. Notifications. I don't know when I'm going live tomorrow. All right? Fair warning.